Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our sixth episode of the Science Stuff podcast. Today, we have three guests, which is the most we've had ever on the podcast, with Jimmy Corlett, Ryan Madayag, and Kyle Tyler. And our topic today is dinosaurs and all things dinosaurs, and even arthropods at some point, hopefully, for Jimmy's sake.
Thank you.
Yes. So Jimmy, this was your idea. So when you want to talk about a new discovery with the
Spinosaurus.
Yes, correct. So take it away.
Yeah. So I believe it was 2020. This paleontologist by the name Ibrahim, I forget his last name, in Morocco, at a previous Spinosaurus fossil site, they discovered the tail was actually structured so that it would function sort of as a fin, which is huge, because before that, Spinosaurus has been sort of the most dynamic fossil. It was originally discovered back in 1915. Only a couple of the vertebrae, I believe one of the jaw bones, were discovered, and then later those were all lost in a bombing in Munich during World War II. And then later on, more of the head bones were found. And then this was the most recent discovery. So it went from sort of a bipedal terrestrial animal, and then they would think it would be semi-aquatic and quadrupedal, and now everyone knows that it's a fully aquatic animal.
But can it still live on land, or is that completely?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a crocodile in that case, kind of.
Yeah.
Did they breathe? Did they have they had still lungs, right? They had to go to the surface to get oxygen, correct?
Yeah. I'm not sure if they had gills. I just do know that they discovered, because of the sort of tail flipper as a propulsion mechanism, they were able to conclude that it was aquatic.
That's really interesting. Because I didn't even know that it kind of fed in the water like a crocodile until I did research recently for this podcast. I just thought it was kind of like a T-Rex type of dinosaur, but after I found out or learned that it swam in the water at least a little bit in shallow water to feed on fish and other living things in the fresh water, I thought that was really interesting. But that's crazy that this was found just last year, this giant new discovery. And I think that just shows that we're learning more and more about these dinosaurs from millions and millions of years ago. So sorry. Does anybody else have anything to add for the Spinosaurus?
Yeah, you go ahead, Danny.
Oh, my bad. I was actually looking at one of my old books, and I showed Jimmy. I didn't even notice because I didn't really read the side captions. But in one of the pages on the Iguanodon, it was showing an Iguanodon fighting the Spinosaurus, and the Spinosaurus, which we know now, is fully aquatic. So it probably actually wouldn't have been fighting the Iguanodon. So I just thought that was interesting. So it's the book's kind of outdated now, obviously, because the fossil that they found last year, but I just thought that was interesting. Ryan?
Oh yeah, kind of off topic, or not really off topic, but I thought I remembered seeing a Spinosaurus swimming in one of the Jurassic movies, or I could be completely wrong.
I thought you were going to say you were walking down the street and you're like, yeah, I saw a Spinosaurus the other day. That's what it started off like.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. Unless it was after me, then that would not be cool.
Yeah. I don't remember that. Do you remember if was it one of the newer ones, or was it one of the three original ones?
I think it might have been number 3. There was a scene where some dinosaur comes out of the water and just attacks their boat or something, but I'm not sure. But I thought it was a Spinosaurus.
Could have been. I mean, yeah, I think scientists or paleontologists have known for a while that they kind of swim, but with Jimmy's article, it just, I think they for sure know that it could swim at least deeper depths and a lot longer and faster. Kind of like these iguanas and lizards that are around today. I think I saw a video recently of some iguana just jumping into like the ocean and just like speeding off, kind of like a penguin underwater. So it's like really interesting that there's this connection between these dinosaurs and lizards as well. Though dinosaurs are more evolved or dinosaurs kind of are more closely related to birds, which is really interesting. And that was another article that Jimmy showed us. And I watched another video too. That was like about this, the earliest, I think, dinosaur, one of the earliest dinosaurs. This weirdest dinosaur. It looks like a chameleon, kind of, with its body shape and the way it can grab things with its claws. The thing is, it has like a bird kind of head, like a beak, and sometimes it's more of like a saddle-shaped neck, so that it can swivel more. And this was found, I think, in the 1900s, and I just thought it was like, and just the way it looked, I forget this. It's called like the Diposaurus or something like that. I can try to find it, but yeah, it's just like crazy that these dinosaurs kind of evolved into birds eventually.
I know the exact video you were talking about. I'm pretty sure I found the same one when I was doing research. I think that was about like what happened after the Great Dying, which is what sort of preceded the Mesozoic era, which is where you find Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods, which is where like all the dinosaurs came out.
Yeah. The precedent to the Mesozoic era was the Paleozoic era, right, with the arthropods and all those kinds of creatures. And Jimmy, I think you love arthropods, don't you?
So when I said that wasn't super clear. So I submitted an article on it. The first apex predator, the Anomalocaris, was like an underwater 6-foot-long arthropod, and it was like the apex predator at that time. The only thing that could stop it was other Anomalocaris, because at the time you had like all these trilobites and like super hard-shelled animals, but this was like one of the only animals that could either crack those shells or flip the animals over and just eat the soft spots. And he's also kind of funny looking.
Yeah, it looks like a rug, like a giant shrimp.
Yeah. And then I believe it has compound eyes, which those are the eyes that like bugs see with, where you get like a bunch of different sort of screens. And I believe the Anomalocaris eyes were like thought to be almost as advanced as modern day dragonflies, who are the most successful hunters on the planet with a 95% success rate.
Wow. That's really impressive. I forget this other arthropod that's like an ancestor to the millipedes, and like it's just I think 5 meters long or something around that, and I think 3 meters wide, and that's just like insane to think about. And then I also read in a book a long time ago, like a dinosaur book, or I guess it was more about arthropods at this point, but it was like cockroaches used to be as big as house cats, which is insane.
I'm sorry, did you say cockroaches used to be as big as house cats?
Yeah, because I watched this video about like how they were so big. It's because the oxygen percentage of the atmosphere of Earth is like way increased than ours right now is back in the Paleozoic era. Is about right now, I think it's at 21% oxygen, but back in the Paleozoic era it was at 35%, which is a big difference. And it was like that because there wasn't any decaying bacteria or predators to decay the wood of like plants and trees, so they were just producing oxygen with a very little decrease in carbon dioxide. So it's just oxygen kept coming, and then these arthropods eventually evolved to grow bigger. They aren't for sure why reasons, because to take in. They can only take in so much oxygen if they were smaller, but since they were bigger, they will survive better. So that's why they think they just grew to massive sizes, like the Ankylosaurus, and there was a giant dragonfly too, and yeah, and it was just, and I think they aren't sure why, but the levels decreased greatly, about even lower than ours, which is I think decreased to like 16% oxygen. So that's why they started like falling back down again.
So with the so I know a big like issue, and like a lot of people say with getting larger you know, just larger creatures in general with exoskeletons is like it becomes too heavy for like it to logically exist. So was there like a lower gravity or something as well, or how was that sorted out? If you are aware, I don't know.
No, I don't. I wasn't in like the research that I found.
Run that one by me one more time, Kyle.
So I always heard that like a big issue with just getting animals that were larger in general with exoskeletons, like you can't have these bigger spiders, you can't have these massive spiders because it's just too large for that to exist.
Okay.
Like for the muscles to be able to move that. So I was wondering if like what exactly caused these what caused the Animalocaris to be able to grow so big?
So like with the Animalocaris and most of the Paleozoic era, a lot of that was completely underwater. So I think buoyancy would definitely be a factor. And then with the later ones, like Ethan was talking about, like they were big compared to current insects. Like cockroach the size of a house cat is massive, but I think most of them weren't like super gigantic, like bigger than people. Like I think most of them would have been like pet size.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that millipede one that I talked about, I try to find its name, but it wasn't like so much as like tall. I think it was really long and pretty wide. So I think maybe that allowed it to not have so much like damage or stress on itself, because it was like kind of like just like laying down kind of the whole time, moving kind of like a millipede. So I think it's the exoskeleton weight didn't really affect it that much, or if it did, it was at least able to like bear it. But yeah, they weren't like as big as buildings. They'd probably be as big as maybe the biggest, maybe like Great Dane, maybe. Probably smaller though in most cases. Another thing I researched or I saw or learned about was that like how our own perception of dinosaurs has like changed like a lot since the first dinosaur. I think it was like the first bone was found in like I think the last half of the 1800s, and he thought it was like the guy that found it. I forget his name. He thought maybe it was like a giant human, which is kind of funny to think about. And then over time, our view of dinosaurs has like evolved. We used to think that they were like lazy, and that's what the pictures at the Field Museum are. Like they show them like kind of lazy, because people thought like, oh, if they're so like advanced, why were they able to, or why did they go extinct if they were so like evolved? So they but then eventually, after people like kind of realized that there was a meteor that crashed, and then also that they found these new types of dinosaurs like the Velociraptors and the T-Rex with their different predatorial characteristics, our view has kind of become to what it is today. And I think on average there's a new fossil being found like every 3 months, I think, which is really surprising and interesting, especially with like new finds like the Spinosaurus becoming an aquatic animal now, which is insane. Yeah. maybe we should move on to our next segment, which would it was kind of an idea we had making the Grammys, but for dinosaurs. It's like superlatives, and we will vote on the categories, and we all I think have suggested categories. So, Jimmy, do you want to go first with your category?
Yeah, mine was the best or most efficient aquatic dinosaur, and my pick is going to be the Mosasaurus.
Okay.
Jimmy, can you tell us about the Mosasaurus? I
Yeah.
am not as well steeped in dinosaurs as you are.
So you know the scene, I think it's Jurassic World, where the giant dinosaur comes out of the water and eats.
And eats like the
It is
intern?
it is no the he,
Actually, yes.
Oh, that yeah, right. Where they casually just feed a human being to a dinosaur, and everyone goes, "Ha ha, that's funny," and I go, "I just got eaten."
I thought it was another dinosaur, but I could be wrong. But
Okay.
these things were massive. I think they were the size of megalodons, if I'm not mistaken, which are very big. And they killed like everything in the ocean. I'm pretty sure the biggest threat to their existences was starvation. And so what they would do, they would sort of like wait at the top, like at the surface of the water, because you can see everything below you and also sort of stuff around you. And they could do this because they were so massive, so they didn't have to worry about like aerial predators coming for them. And meanwhile, they could go for basically any kill they wanted.
Damn. They sound really intense. Does anybody have one to go right now?
I think that's a great pick. I have to agree. Nothing on my mind.
I have one.
Mhm.
I have no idea how to pronounce this. I think it's like coelacanth. I don't know, but it's basically just a fish that's been around for like 400 million years, and it was thought to be extinct until 1938. But then they found it off of like the coast of South Africa, and these things could live for like hundreds of years.
Yeah, I heard about that. Is that like the sunbathing fish? Not I know it's not that. There's something else, but like, isn't it kind of like that? Kyle, or I think it's something
I'm
else.
not entirely sure. I think. Okay, so I honestly have no idea. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's my bad. But yeah, I think yeah, Kyle brings it up. That's like a good point because this may not be like the most predatorial dinosaur, but like it survived for like the longest. It seems like, at least by what Kyle said. So I think I'm gonna vote with Kyle's dinosaur. I think maybe we should just vote on these two, unless somebody else has a third one for this category. So, the Buddha, Mr. Og, do you guys have a vote?
I would agree with Kyle's vote.
Mhm.
I
2 to
will
2.
second that.
All right, 4-2. So the most efficient aquatic dinosaur goes to Kyle's dinosaur, which we cannot pronounce.
And unfortunately, the Kazakhstan is not with us tonight, so we will accept the award on its behalf.
Yes. We'll have to put these up in your classroom, Mr. Og.
What?
We're gonna make them. We're gonna put them in
Okay.
the classroom.
Hey, you know what? It'll be a good teaser because then people will go, "What is that?" And then they'll listen to the podcast.
Exactly. All right. Ryan, you had a category, right?
Yes, I think my category was which dinosaur would be the best pet. I think this one could be everyone can have their own, but for me, I would say a Pachycephalosaurus is my choice. It's perfect for many reasons. It has a huge bony lump on its head. Like if you could control that, and if it was your pet, like nobody would threaten you. And if they did, then I mean that sucks, because then I would probably have to send my Pachycephalosaurus onto them. Second, it can probably fit in your house pretty well, and I'm pretty sure it's an omnivore, so it wouldn't cause any problems. So those are my reasons why it's the best pet.
It's a good choice. That dinosaur I mentioned earlier, like iguana looking dinosaur with like the bird shaped head. I'll try to find the name, but I think that's mine because it wasn't very big and it ate mostly, I think, just insects, because that's what it was evolved for. Its beak and its like head, so it could like, it would crawl like an iguana, but it would eat insects like birds do. I'll try to find the name. Sorry.
While that's happening, does anyone else have another dinosaur that would?
I do. I'm gonna nominate the good old Snyrkosaurus, which was the type of dinosaur that Dino was from the Flintstones. He was a pet, therefore I think he makes the best pet, and therefore I think the only true answer to this is a Snyrkosaurus.
I like that. Does anyone want to challenge the Snarkosaurus?
I'll try. I'm gonna go with the Utahraptor. I think Kyle brought it up earlier. So it's like a Velociraptor, but it's smaller. They're omnivores like Ryan's nomination was, so you don't got to worry about being eaten. And I'm also pretty sure that the group they're part of, the Dromaeosaurs, were among the most intelligent dinosaurs. Like they would actively set bait for their prey. So send a Utahraptor into the forest, get you some food.
I found the name of the dinosaur. It's called the Trypanosaurus. I could show you on screen. Maybe, yeah. It looks like that. It's got like talons or claws on each of the foot, and then even its tail to like break the tree bark. And see how its head is kind of like it's a beak. Yeah. So I think it's just like, I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool the way it evolved, and so that's why I'm going to choose it as my nomination.
I would like to counter with the fact that a Snyrkosaurus is purple.
Okay.
Are your nominations purple? I don't think so.
I don't think anyone
I
has.
mean, they could.
We don't know about any of
Yeah.
these other ones.
Well, I feel like there's only one choice then.
Yeah, yours is the only one that we could confirm. But my pick would be the Ankylosaurus. It's basically just, it's like an armored dinosaur. It might not be like a house pet, but it'd be cool to have in your backyard. It's about like 5.5 feet tall, but it's 11,000 to 18,000 pounds. So it is, it's definitely an outside pet.
Is that the one with the club on its tail?
Yes.
Okay, that would be my second choice if I were to have a pet.
Maybe we should have limited this one to only a few nominations, because now we're just going to vote for their own
I
dinosaur.
mean, I think it's obvious that the Snarkosaurus is just superior.
Yeah, I was going to change my
So
vote to
Snarkosaurus, definitely.
Snarkosaurus.
Absolutely. Yabba dabba do it.
Labu, did you have a vote?
Snarkosaurus. It's purple.
Jimmy, don't make it a unanimous, Jimmy?
I think I will.
There we go. And so now the best dinosaur to have as a pet is the Snarkosaurus. And again, his award will go to Mr. Ogg at some point.
Yes, we will accept it on Dino's behalf. He's busy filming, probably in Hollywood.
He's a busy man, busy dino. So my category I came up with, I think, was like the weirdest dinosaur, which I will again nominate the I forgot his name already. The Trypanosaurus, the one I showed you and explained is like the iguana bird dinosaur. It's how it acts like an iguana, but has the bones and body shape of kind of like a bird.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, no,
No, you go. You spoke first. You have to. You spoke first.
Okay. I had another nomination. Not very common known dinosaur. It's called a Mosasaurus. Here, I'll show you a picture. And I think by just looking at that alone, it's pretty weird. It was in the early Cretaceous area, and it was in China, I think. And like, so its lower body below its neck is kind of like a mixture between like a T-Rex and a bird, but then its neck is kind of like just this long kind of figure, and it has even a beak. So I think it's pretty weird. It has the aspects of almost like every dinosaur.
It's a good pick.
I'm gonna have to go for an unexpected pick with the Stegosaurus. So my reasoning is that those scales on its back, it can shoot blood into those, and it can make them like change color, and it would run around trying to intimidate things that would come at it with those. And I also think the scales being flipped up is pretty odd. But I think Ryan's turkey wins.
Okay, thank you.
Well, does anybody else have any suggestions?
So I'm sure most people know what this one is. It's the Parasaurolophus. It's the one with basically the hook on its head, And I mean, it just looks like its head is a banana. It's hilarious.
If I'm thinking of the one you're talking about, I watched this like kids show. It was like Dino Train. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but those dinosaurs are on there, and like they like use like their heads like to communicate somehow. So that's kind of cool.
It's a good show.
You said it.
I think my nomination would be the Doedicarus. I think that's how you pronounce it. Looks like that.
Oh.
It looks kind of like an armadillo,
Yeah.
but it also has like a spiked tail, and it has like these weird pointed claws, and like the top of its head is also kind of protected like with the armadillo armor. So that'd be my nomination.
I think
Agree with
huge
Daniel.
too.
Yeah. I thought of another dinosaur to add this category, which would be the Indominus Rex, from Jurassic World, because it was kind of altered with all this different DNA, and so it is by definition a very strange dinosaur. I don't know if that really counts.
I think so.
Okay.
But I still vote for Labudas.
Yeah. I think I'm going to vote. Yeah, I'm going to vote for Labudas also.
I'm going to vote for Ryan's. That was a pretty strange looking dinosaur.
I am also going to vote for Ryan's.
Yeah. And only because, Daniel, when you held it up, I went, oh, that looks like an armadillo. And that's what you said. When Ryan held up the picture of his, I went, what is that? Which I think that does it right there. That seals it for me.
Yeah. So his Houseosaurus wins.
Kyle's the tiebreaker.
All right.
I'm gonna vote for the Stegosaurus.
Thanks, Kyle.
Is this a three-way tie?
Oh no, I only have one.
Oh, okay. What did you vote for? Oh, you voted for Ryan's. Ryan, what did you vote for?
I voted for Danny's. which was like the Dodictosaurus or something.
And
like that.
Daniel, what did you vote for?
Ryan's. I'll vote Ryan's.
Oh, then then Ryan's wins.
Oh, that's cool.
3 votes. Wow. Okay.
All right, congratulations then, Ryan, for the what was its name again?
The Mosasaurus.
Correct. So that is now the most what was it? The most strange dinosaur. So there we go. Was there another category we had?
Yeah. Most famous dinosaur.
Oh right, yeah.
I'm just gonna say this. It has to be the T-Rex. I don't think there's any competition, unless one of you comes up with something else. But
The only competition I could come up with, and this is just to try to throw another one out there because I don't think it's more popular than T-Rex. Maybe Triceratops, maybe, but I don't think that competes with the sort of the lore and how well known a T-Rex is.
Is that the one that has like a shield on its head?
Yeah.
With horns, yeah.
I think I have another one that I don't think it's as popular, but the Velociraptor. I feel like a lot of people do.
I was gonna suggest that one too.
Oh, the
Or the-
Stegosaurus again.
Yeah. Or the long neck one. I forget its name.
I guess
Like-
like
I'm looking
Brachiosaurus.
down.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is it?
Bronchiosaurus.
Yeah, that one.
There's a pterodactyl.
Oh,
That's true.
But
have
do
you heard-
any of these really compare with the T-Rex, right? When you say the word dinosaur, don't most people just immediately think of a T-Rex? Isn't that the first one they think of?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true. So yeah, I think I'm gonna vote for the T-Rex.
We all vote for the
Strong
T-Rex.
vote. Yeah. Okay, so it's another unanimous one. The T-Rex is the most famous dinosaur. Does that conclude our Dinos award show?
Thought Mr. Og had dinosaurs we'd want to fight.
Well,
Oh,
I don't think it was we want to fight. I think
If
the
we had to.
phrase it was, right? If I find myself in a situation where I am head to head with one dinosaur, which one would I pick to make my chances the best?
I think you'd fare pretty well against a T-Rex.
A T-Rex?
Yes.
Man, Ryan, I didn't realize you hated physics that much last year that you just want to feed me to a T-Rex.
I mean, are you just fighting barehanded?
I haven't specified. I think I have human hands, not bear hands.
Oh.
I'll go with the Ocula dentatus because it's not even an ounce.
What is it like? What does it do? Is it kind of just like a bird?
They recently discovered one stuck in, or like a fossil stuck in an ember. It looked like a bird, but it was it's like a lizard that looks like a bird, kind of like yours.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm still thinking.
So my submission is gotta be the Stegosaurus for 2 reasons. One, there's a kid's book called Stegosaurus, the Friendliest Dinosaur. So I don't think the Stegosaurus is going to want to fight. I think we'll both be able to go about our merry ways. Second, from my very brief research, a Stegosaurus could reach 4 miles per hour. I think I could outrun a Stegosaurus. So because of that, I'm going Stegosaurus.
That's a good point because not all dinosaurs will fight back.
Yeah, maybe I just want to outrun it.
That's true.
Maybe there's one that I looked up. I don't know if this is reliable, but I think there's a Microraptor, supposedly the smallest dinosaur, 16 inches tall.
Would it like bite my ankles though?
I don't
Probably,
think enough.
those are how they
Is that
kick
the
it.
one that attacked the little girl in the one Jurassic Park movie?
I don't think that one was a Microraptor though.
There was a bunch of them though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'd fight a Triceratops.
What? Why? Just for the story?
I want to fight like like maybe a child one, because I want to that I feel like that'd be fun, like have a pushing contest.
But what about when the angry parental Triceratops comes along? You think it's gonna understand? Oh, don't worry, we were just playing.
No, like I could be like, hey, I have your kid, back off.
God, this is taking a serious turn. I think we should all vote Stegosaurus right now.
Well, it would be cool if you took a Triceratops though, because if you won,
no,
hang on, but you'd have a really cool shield. So he was against the other dinosaurs.
If I lose these votes, my mind is going to be blown. I don't understand this voting logic. My dinosaur is friendly and slow. Like it can't run fast.
The Triceratops isn't like a predator though, right? It's just, isn't it kind of?
Yeah, I think.
Isn't it still like an herbivore?
Yeah.
Right, but why does it have 3 horns? You don't think it ever used those things?
Well, I guess. Yeah.
Well, if Carl was going against a child, like I think he'd have.
No, we're not specifying how old the dinosaur is. Oh my goodness gracious.
I still take my chances with a 2-centimeter little lizard.
That's true. But what if it has a venomous bite and you get bit?
Does it have
we don't know that.
Is there a dinosaur with a venomous?
To horseshoe crab.
You're the one who. Oh my goodness. Cast your votes. I don't even know anymore.
I'm gonna vote for. They're only fighting you, Mr. Hogg?
What? No, I mean like any of us. The whole idea was that like you were 1-on-1, not like what dinosaur would we like to see in the ring against Mr. Augustinsky. I think Ryan answered that immediately and said T-Rex.
Yeah.
Definitely T-Rex. You can do it, Mr. Augustinsky. Definitely. Yeah.
I'm gonna vote for Triceratops just because shield.
Okay.
At the end.
I'll go with mine because I can step on it.
Okay, Ryan.
I would have to agree with you, Ethan. I think Triceratops would be the easiest.
Yeah.
At least for me personally, also. Just.
Yeah, exactly. Labuda, Mr. Hogg.
At first I was gonna vote Jimbo's, but Ethan swayed the vote when he talked about the shield, so I gotta go with Triceratops.
Good to know I have that influence.
I'm sticking with Stegosaurus, and I think this is the most baffled I've been since you were all trying to tell me that Cars was the best Pixar movie.
And I don't remember saying it was the best, but I remember just saying it was really good. One of the best. You and Joe were both saying yes, it was one of the best. It was a top tier Pixar movie. You were putting it up there with WALL-E and Ratatouille and Toy Story, and that to me is just.
You think Ratatouille is better than Cars?
Oh, hands down. Hands down, no contest. This is not turning into our Pixar episode again. Listen to our Pixar episode. We can do another one maybe sometime during the second semester. Where you just try to convince me that Cars is a top tier Pixar movie? Maybe.
I mean, it does have an amazing soundtrack.
It does. It has Rascal Flatts.
Cars 2 scarred me though.
What about the Michael Giacchino soundtrack to Ratatouille? That thing is beautiful music. That's true. They're in France, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was pretty good music. Yeah, it was. Well, maybe we'll say this debate for a different date. Oh no.
rehash things and maybe hopefully find some resolutions. But Mr. Og, did you have a vote on the?
Yeah,
you did.
Stegosaurus. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Triceratops won, right?
I think so.
So when Jurassic Park happens in real life, we're gonna all get in a ring with a baby Triceratops.
Yeah.
Okay.
It went from a Triceratops to a child Triceratops to a baby Triceratops.
Well, I think the baby and the child are the same thing. Fine, we can make it a teenager Triceratops.
Okay.
How long does the Triceratops live exactly? I don't know that. Like, how big is it by teenage years?
I don't
We'll
know.
find out when it's time.
There you go.
I think that is the last award we had. Lebu, did you have something? Any questions you had?
Yeah. So first, I wanted to ask you guys what your favorite dinosaur is. We could start with the Og.
Oh, I have to go first.
Yep.
Boy, I would go with Stegosaurus because it's friendly and it doesn't run fast.
But you said you wanted to fight it.
No, I said I liked my chances the best because I could befriend it. You guys made it a fighting thing.
Yes. Okay. I'll go next. I think it's just like seeing the Jurassic Park movies a lot. I like the Velociraptor the most, even though it's like probably not. It's definitely not probably accurate, at least what they were. But like,
No feathers.
it could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my choice will be Velociraptors with feathers. That's my choice.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
Dodo Bird.
The Dodo Bird.
Why?
A dinosaur? It's not, right? I mean,
I mean, kind of
vaguely
is.
related, maybe.
Yeah, 'cause dinosaurs are really birds. So
Yeah. So you know.
If he's picking Dodo Bird, can I pick Anomalocaris?
yeah, you can. Because Jimmy loves arthropods.
No, that's not that. I'm gonna go with Spinosaurus.
That sounds like a spin-off podcast. Jimmy loves
Jimmy loves
arthropods, and he just talks about a
yes.
different arthropod every week.
Maybe we have the time. Ryan or Labuda?
I'm gonna have to go with the Ankylosaurus again. Heavily armored, club tail,
Yeah.
delicacy in the dinosaur cuisine.
So now we're eating them.
I mean, that's what the dinosaurs considered at least.
Oh, that makes sense.
But it would be interesting to eat one too.
That begs the question: if dinosaurs come back to life, can we eat them as food, or are they going to be like protected?
That's our first question. Is it what they taste like?
Okay, Labuda.
I'd have to. Well, I guess it's kind of basic, but Velociraptor. I think they look pretty cool. And
With or without feathers?
what?
With or without feathers?
Without.
Oh, okay.
And they're also pretty intelligent dinosaurs, so I thought that was interesting. So
Yeah.
and,
So I like them too.
I have another question now for you guys. So like in Jurassic World, they mixed the genome of Tyrannosaurus Rex with that of a Velociraptor. So if you could mix two dinosaurs to make it one dinosaur, what two dinosaurs would you mix?
I'd take a Stegosaurus and I'd mix it with a Stegosaurus. It'd be very friendly. Super friendly. It would be a very friendly dinosaur.
That makes sense.
What would its name be then? Stegosaurus.
Ron.
Ron?
It would just be Ron.
It's a good choice. What would be like if you chose like one of the that big sea monster or the sea dinosaur that Jimmy chose for the most like effective aquatic dinosaur. I forgot its name.
Oh, Mosasaurus.
Yeah, the Mosasaurus, and maybe a T-Rex. Because then, what if it had legs and flippers, and then could come on land and the water, and it'd be giant in both? That'd be pretty,
Like a
pretty
giant
scary.
seal.
Yeah, but not like incapable of doing things.
So like a bigger and scarier crocodile.
Yeah, pretty much.
What would you name it, Ethan?
John, to keep the Ron rhyme. Ryan?
I guess I would probably have to combine a Spinosaurus and an Ankylosaurus, because then it could swim. It's carnivorous and it would be armored with a club tail, so it could basically do everything and not get killed.
Could it fly?
No, but yeah, I guess that's one thing it can't do is fly.
Okay. Kyle?
I would say like a pterodactyl and a T-Rex, because that's like what's gonna stop that? You basically just got a dragon there,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I would name it the Flyranosaurus Rex.
It's a very good
That's a
name.
pretty good name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go with a Stegosaurus and a Brachiosaurus because he's big and friendly.
Seems like you're thinking the way Mr. Og is.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to make friendly dinosaurs? That would be great.
I reminded thinking that like I'm not going to be there. So,
Yeah.
Libu, did you have a combination?
Yeah. I'd mix a Tyrannosaurus Rex and kind of an obscure dinosaur, the Iguanodon, which I actually mentioned earlier. But they have like bigger hands and arms, and they actually have these like really big spikes on their thumbs, which would be pretty useful for a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So it'd be like an even stronger Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I'd name it Don to rhyme with John and Ron.
And it's our mascot. There we go, our mascot.
There you go. The Don.
Yes.
I think I have one more question. What do you guys think is the most important trait for a dinosaur to have?
Coolness.
Yeah, the cool factor really does a lot in the evolutionary process. I think maybe adaptability. Like if they're able to move across land and the sea, that'd be pretty cool. But then what if it can move into land, air, and the water? That'd be like a really cool.
Yeah, I guess this question is up to interpretation. So I'm going to interpret it slightly differently. And I guess it's kind of like coolness, but I'm going to be a little more specific. I think the most important feature for us to like remember and recognize a dinosaur is they have to have sort of like one unique thing about them, one unique feature, right? If you think about the Stegosaurus, it's got those cool plates on it. Think about Triceratops, you go, oh yeah, that's the one with the horns, right? The Brontosaurus, you're like, oh, that's the one with the really long neck. I think in terms of us remembering a dinosaur, I think it's having something that makes it memorable. And so I guess that's kind of along the lines of Kyle's cool. And then obviously a close second would be friendliness. I think they should be friendly.
Good traits. Jimmy or Ryan, do you have any?
I'll go with size, just because like sauropods, like the Brachiosaurus, were like very hard to kill.
It's true.
Hmm.
But in Jurassic World, the Indominus Rex did kill them. And if we're saying that's real, I'd say that that's not exactly the best strategy.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, that's a good. That's all jokes aside. Yeah, that's a good trait. Ryan.
I mean, I agree with like all of yours. I guess another one to add would be like maybe hunting ability. I guess that's the only other thing I could think of, and maybe protection. But yeah, but that's why I think the Ankylosaurus is like one of the best because it can do both pretty well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ryan, you took mine. You took the mine. You said the first one, and then you said protection, and I was like,
Sorry.
no.
Dang.
I just think like defense, like horns, spikes, claws, anything to help them try to defend themselves.
Yeah. So maybe we could somehow fit all these traits into one dinosaur and get the best dinosaur ever at some point. I think that about concludes our episode for this episode. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Ryan, Kyle, and Jimmy for coming on. Thank you to Labuda and Mr. Og. I didn't get to say it, but Mr. Og is our Mr. Og is our ferocious moderator, like a dinosaur. There we go. And thank you everyone, and have a good day.